your sports network.
Yeah, I've been closer to Jesus before, so can you help me out? Oh, can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? But can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? Or can you help me out? Can you help me out? I've been scared to look in my soul. I've been afraid I would follow the road. Yeah, afraid of the things I've been told.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Thursday episode of Running Point on YSNLive.com, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. As you can see, we're not just joined by myself and Ty Bartell, but the CEO himself, DJ Yoakley, coming in hot. We have a big day on Running Point. That's why we kind of brought you in.
It's a big day. I mean, it's always a big day when you have some breaking news. It's an even bigger day when you got a team heading to state championships in soccer. And, you know, we were there last night. We have some posts we'll run here in a minute. But anytime you're in the car with Jeff Bezos for 6 hours, it qualifies as an experience. And Jeff did a phenomenal job last night calling the game. I wish the guy that was handling the video recorder was doing his best. I promise you that he was doing his best. But congratulations to Krista, man! What a game! What an absolute game that they played, and they played their hearts out and ended up on the good side of things. And now they're heading down to Columbus in a couple of days.
Down 2-1. They came back and scored the next 3 goals, won 4-2. We'll hear from them in a bit. But, you know, as busy as this show is, never too busy to acknowledge our veterans on Veterans Day. Every veteran.
All of them.
Every
day.
Past, present, future, even the ones that are training to become veterans.
The ones living and the ones that have given the ultimate sacrifice for their country. We never, ever would say that this is only for a day that for people that are still living. I mean, anytime someone is willing, and this is what I learned in 6 years of, you know, being in the military community, not serving, but in the military community from a different perspective. Anytime somebody's willing to give up and their life for you and they don't know you, you owe them a debt of gratitude. And they do it because of the 3 colors that we love, the red, the white, and the blue, and for Old Glory. And you know, we live in a very diverse situation nowadays. Everybody wants something different, but we still come together and unite under the one banner of the United States of America. And those that are willing to serve and fight for the freedoms, we will always tip our cap to and take our hats off and salute moving forward. So I don't know how you can get off and say that you don't, on Veterans Day, you don't support all veterans and thank all veterans for giving the sacrifices that they do for us.
I don't think it's overly dramatic. I mean, we wouldn't be doing this show without the sacrifices that veterans have made for us.
Not in English, at least.
Might be, right. Might be either speaking in a British accent a little bit.
Or German, or
everything
Japanese.
Japanese. Oh,
Ty probably knows all those languages deep down. I mean, he's probably going to get reprogrammed at some point, being Tybot 9000. You know, to speak all those languages, but we're happy he speaks English, and we're happy that he is the Red Ranger of the group here, you know, because he loves wearing that red, and we appreciate him being one of our 3 colors all the time. But, you know, it's funny thing, man. When you meet the veterans, the majority of them, if not all of them, are just incredibly humble. And, you know, sometimes everybody falls on bad times. And you know, when people say that they're a veteran, they served our country, and, you know, they're in a bad spot, my heart goes out to them. And anytime I can give, I do. Because, again, you know, can you imagine if things were different and you know, we weren't Old Glory and we weren't doing it? That's, and people can crack jokes and say all they want until you go to a third world country and you realize what they have to go through in order to just feed their families and some of the freedoms that we complain about on a daily basis that we owe to our veterans and things of that nature. we put out a thing with Andy Hake this morning about veterans, and nobody says it better than Andy. And he's right on every little bit that, we got billionaires that are sending people to space and instead of helping their fellow man. And we got millionaires that are complaining about getting a football. And the reality is the millionaires should be teachers, should be veterans, and should be people that, doctors and people like that. So I'm excited for that. Got a guest, yeah. Coach K, my guy. We'll get him in here. All right.
I am excited to be here.
What's up, Coach?
First time.
I'm really excited. Like I said, I don't do this very often, so I'm trying to broaden my horizons and expand our reach for some of our players. And I figure what better place to do it with you guys.
Well, I can speak on behalf of all of us right now, as you got the best beard on the board, buddy. Yeah. That thing is looking good.
Thank you. I plan on seeing if I can get the Santa Claus beard by December.
I like it.
Coach.
Obviously, Coach K of Warren JFK, one of the legends here at YSN. Thank you so much for joining us, Ty. I didn't mean to step on your toes. Take us away.
No, you're good, Coach. Obviously, we talk about Warren JFK, and everyone looks at that football and that baseball team and what they did going to state. But you guys had a pretty good run last year as well, going all the way to regional finals. And looking at that team, looks like you guys are going to be having a lot of returners, presumably. So looking at your team this year, what do you expect to return and have some big minutes? And who are some younger players that you think might step up and have an impact?
Well, we really only return 2 upperclassmen. We have one senior, TJ Harden, who unfortunately against Richmond Heights, he tore his ACL and MCL, and he had surgery on that. So we're expecting he'll be back sometime in December. He's shooting, lifting, following the physical therapy regimen that he has, and he looks good. And then Hayden Waite, he's going to be a junior, 3-year starter for us. The other 2 major ones that played minutes last year, Jaden Rischel as a freshman did start for us. And Michael Condolian came on the last 10-15 games for us last year, played really, really well. But we have some other incoming sophomores that we expect big things from. Nico Simonero played a little bit in the McDonald game, was a huge spark plug for us, even against Jackson Milton. Played great defense. I mean, people see him. He's a little tiny squirt, but he's got a pit bull mentality, so that people are like, oh, go right at him. And then we're like, that's exactly what we wanted, because he's going to eat you up. And we have Pat Vallon will be back from football. We also have Pat Wagner, Quinn Miola, Nick Ryan. We all young guys. Pat Vallon, obviously, he's a junior, but the rest of them are sophomores and freshmen, and we are going to be a little bit undersized, but nothing that we can't overcome. I think for local games, we'll be all right. We have 6'4", 6'5". A few guys around 6 foot, but we're going to expect to be where we were the last 2 years. These kids come in with the expectation, since, a lot of the sophomores, I've had them since they were in 5th and 6th grade. And the expectation was this is one of our groups, that we expect long lasting success. And hopefully we can get beyond the Richmond Heights stage, because they took us out the last 2 years, and we were kind of last year right there, 5 points with 6 minutes left, and we just couldn't buy a bucket from that point forward. But really, really excited. I think we're going to shoot the ball really well. We're going to play faster than what we normally do, which is hard, but we averaged 70 points a game the last couple of years. We're hoping to get up above 75 to 80 points a game, and just play super, super fast and gritty basketball, because we're not giants inside. But we're obviously going to miss some of those seniors that we lost last year. But I think our expectations are we're going to take off right where we left.
The last 2 seasons you guys have are building blocks to making a successful program. What kind of things do you want to build off of from the experiences of last year and learn from and try to improve on for this year?
Well, I mean, we talked about it last year. We expected to be good last year, but it started actually the year before. I think we were 2-10. And there were a lot of people that are other than in-house players, that struggled seeing us being successful, because it was hard to see when you're 2-10. but we played a grueling schedule that year, and we competed against a lot of D2, D1 schools. And I told the kids, and they believed, we can win districts. And as the year went on, I want to say we finished 12-14 or something like that, and lost to Richmond Heights. But the expectation come tournament time to just turn it on. And I guess that's the wrong way to say it. Our kids understand that I tell them every year, it's kind of like the life cycle. Right now we're in the infancy stage. There's going to be a lot of mistakes, screw ups. And then when we get into the toddler age, which is right around the beginning of the season, we're still going to have a lot of screw ups, but we're okay with that, because the key is, are we going to get better from game 1 to game 2 to game 3? And every day in practice, that's our goal. We talk about, we put everything on the clock. We put, if we do a drill, we want to see, are we shooting better? Are we getting our times down? And then when we eventually have enough to be able to do some live play stuff, that'll obviously has some hiccups, but our guys are resilient. We had a lot of kids go out and play soccer this year, which I was happy with, because it put them in a different environment, because they've had so much success, whether it was football, baseball, or even basketball. So that put them in a situation where maybe they weren't the guys, and they had to develop some chemistry with new people. And I think that's going to help us a ton this year. I'm really looking forward to this group. They're a ton of fun. And like I said, we get to play a little bit faster than what we normally do.
Coach, what does it mean for you? We've talked to some of the football players and baseball players, and we always ask, what does it mean to wear the K at JFK?
There's a standard. There's 100%. There's a standard when you have that K on your jersey, on your helmet. That you're playing not only for yourself and your teammates, but you're playing for everybody that set the foundation. And you want to uphold that standard, and you want to actually exceed it. We talk about, when we do go to state, at some point in time, we're going to Columbus. And when we do, all those guys are getting on the bus with us, because they started it, they built it. And I think it may be cliche, but I honestly believe it's the truth. When I came over here, they talk about family, faith, pride, commitment, those things, and integrity. And these guys live it. I mean, it's here every day. It's ingrained. If you don't step up and meet those standards, people are going to let you know. I mean, so the kids have a lot of pressure on them, but they excel in that. And I think that it actually pushes them every day in practice, because they don't want to be the group that didn't uphold the standard that was set. So it's definitely cliche, but there's something about it. I mean, when you walk into a practice, whatever practice it is, whatever sport, you can see that these kids expect to be great, and you can't ask for anything more, whether even in the classroom. I mean, our kids are battling each other in the classroom to see who ends up with the highest GPA. And like, what more can you ask for?
Coach, looking at what you've been able to do at JFK, it obviously is a culture that you've built, and it obviously requires a great staff around you. So looking at this, let's do a sort of meet the staff session, and shout out your assistants and those other big proponents that are going to be a huge help along the way this season.
Coach Stephen Hughes is my right-hand man. He actually coached a lot of the games last year, because I was quarantined when my wife had COVID. And he came over from Mineral Ridge. He started as the head coach there at the same time I started here at Kennedy. And we kind of, we're both McDonald guys. We got together, we worked on, putting in an offense for him, and a little bit about the press that we were going to try and instill at Kennedy. And we got really, really close. So it was just an obvious choice when he decided to step down there to try and get him to come over here, because he knows everything that we're doing. Our JV coach is Zach Tasker, who this is his first year with us, but he slides over. He was at Ridge with Coach Hughes, and he's a big baseball guy. So a lot of these kids already know him from baseball, not from basketball. But he, again, is someone who knows the system, knows a lot of the drills, the plays, the things that we do on a regular basis. So it's very, very smooth. Junior high, we have Anthony Cattell, who's back. He coached for years and years here at the junior high level. He stepped back in. He went over and was helping out with the girls, but now he's back with us. And then Justin Bovenkamp, who is a legend, or at least he thinks he's a legend. But he is. I mean, he played a big part my first season here, and the kids look up to him. And again, he's another guy who he knows what the expectations are, the standards, and he's been through all this. So it's really a cohesive staff. I'm really excited to see what our kids do grades 7 through 12, but being able to have to step out of a practice for 10, 15 minutes for whatever it may be, I know they're in good hands, and I know the guys know exactly what it is that we expect, and they're going to, instead of worrying about what's going on when I'm not in there, I have nothing to worry about. Just like last year. I mean, I think Steven won 4 out of 5 games or something like that while I was gone, and it was I had no issues because I knew they were in good hands, and our kids are so great.
Coach, you're always able to put together a really strong schedule and a schedule that prepares you really well for the tournament. Who are some teams that pop up this year that you're excited to play and that you think will really prepare you for the end of the season and tournament time?
Well, we're in the PTC now, so scheduling was a little bit different there this year. But obviously, we would like to enter that league and have a chance to win it. Mogador, Southeast, Rootstown, Lake Center Christians in there, St. Thomas Aquinas, all decent programs with decent histories, and they're going to play hard. But on top of that, we do have Cleveland Central, we have Canton Central, we have Ursuline, Howland, which is a big game. So we've always tried to get more D2, D3 programs, and usually the last 5 years our schedule was predominantly D2 programs. We didn't get Mooney in this year, and I don't think we got East or Harding this year, but we're still looking. I think after this year with getting acclimated with the league, we'll be able to get a better feel for scheduling some of those bigger schools. But I think our schedule is very well rounded this year. I think we have some local teams, we have some travel teams. Like Cleveland Central is going to be, like, for me, that's one of our key games. Where do we stand? And 2 years ago we played them, they beat us by 35, but in that game we played really well. Like, we played really, really well, and the kids knew it. It was a back-to-back night. We had played Ursuline, then we played Cleveland Central the next day, and it was a close game at halftime. And then we just didn't have legs to go against them. But and I think we finished the season. Gilmore Academy's in there. They're another good one. They're always well coached. Division II, I think their Division II program do a really, really good job. And last year they won their district title and kind of came out of the blue because they have the same type of standards. They expect to win when the tournament comes, and they play up all season long. And if the coach can get it clicking and the players click, those are the type of teams you want to play. They have high standards. And because everybody gets into the tournament, our expectations are our regular season starts in the tournament. That's, we're 0-0, and we expect to win in those tournaments, get districts, and move on, and hopefully have a chance to go to Columbus.
Coach, thank you so much for taking the time to join us. We appreciate your time. We know it's limited, and we appreciate you coming on and taking the time to help us preview JFK boys basketball.
Oh, no, thank you so much. You got me out of lunch duty today. I really appreciate it.
You're the best, Coach. Thank you.
Anytime. I appreciate it, guys.
Coach K from the K in JFK.
He's such a great leader. Another one of those guys, and I know we talk about it a lot, guys, that the coaches we have in this area, we're supremely blessed to have these leaders that lead the next group of leaders, right? And Coach K is just another one of them at JFK. And JFK is a special place. I mean, just a special place. Obviously, one that is close to our hearts here at YSN. But, when you wear that K, there's something about it. And, the same colors as Superman and Captain America and Spider-Man. Like, there's some superhero attributes to when you're at Kennedy. And you think 11 guys on a baseball team won a state championship. You look at their team in D7 for football, and they go up against teams that have 50, 60 – like, every boy that's eligible plays football for every other team in the state championship. And then you got Kennedy that has, like, 20 kids. And they come out and they get that close. And this might be the year that they just go over the hump. But this basketball program, Coach K gets into play even that much more.
Yeah, everyone likes to talk about what a big monster Richmond Heights is. They were 5 points down. It was a very good basketball game. They have the pieces there to compete with the monster that is Richmond Heights.
But it's all about scheduling. You know what I mean? Right. It's all about scheduling. So, you know, we're going to bring in a guy that knows a thing or two about scheduling.
Another great leader.
So we do have some breaking news to tell you about as we bring in Coach Chris Mill, the former now coach at Cheney High School, the football team, a guy that has done so much for so many. And you know, he steps down because he's got a better opportunity to impact more people along the way. And I'm not sure, guys, that he's going to be able to do himself justice. But we wanted to bring him on the show and let him have, you know, praise him a little bit for what he's done in the community, but certainly let him have his parting words for the Cheney community and the Youngstown community as he leads to bigger and better things. Coach, welcome.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
So thanks for the kind words.
Oh, come on, man. Come on. You've been so great to us and so great to these kids. We got to do a prime time with you and sit down with you earlier this year and hear some of those stories. And that's you know, a piece of the puzzle. That's maybe 100th of the things that you go through on a daily basis. Talk to me about, you know, what, you know, the reason for stepping down, number one, and then number two, what you're going to miss most about your kids at Cheney.
You know, the first thing is the reason I'm stepping down is I'm taking another position at a school in Charlotte, North Carolina. Brand new school, Corbian High School. It's in Huntersville, which is right outside of Charlotte. The school is 2 years old, and they're starting up a football program next year. My best friend actually, some of my best friends actually live down there from college. One from here, I played at Cardinal Mooney with them. And their kids practice AAU basketball at the school. And the guy mentioned the athletic director's from Farrell, PA, and he mentioned they're starting football and was looking for a coach and asked them if they want to coach. And, you know, my friend Andre Jackson was like, you know, I'm not the coach, but I got one for you. The guy just kind of Googled me and tried to find out a little bit about me and things like that. Then he just called out the blue and just said he felt I was the man for the job and just kind of blew it off and didn't think much of it. And then as time went on, you know, just the study conversations and things and the fact that, you know, my friends down there, their kids will be attending that school. So I'll get to coach them through high school. Played a big part in it. And, you know, just previous times, just turning down jobs, opportunities that I had, you know, for different reasons. And talking to my boys, you know, I have a son that's 24 and one that's 19. My 19-year-old attends Cincinnati and he's like an undergrad assistant coach, you know, and they encourage me to, you know, to take this opportunity and see what's out there for me. So, you know, so I'll be moving to Charlotte, North Carolina, sometime between December and January.
Wow. I mean, you look at, you know, a little different world down there, but the impact that you've made here, Coach, has been unbelievable. When you look at, you know, between Cardinal Mooney and Youngstown City School District, the impact that you've had on these young men and women across the board. I mean, what is Cheney meant to you? What is being, you know, a Cardinal Mooney guy meant to you? And what are you going to miss most?
You know, for me, you know, just starting with Mooney, you know, it means a great deal to me. You know, I was around Mooney football probably since I was like in 5th grade, you know, with just different family members and then my brother playing there. And just the impact and the influence that Coach Butchie had on my life. So Mooney is always going to be a special place to me. You know, it helped me become the man I am today. One of my favorite teachers, Mr. Jackman, is from Mooney. You know, she played a big role in my life. It just, you know, keep me out of trouble. You know, I have friends that have been killed. I have friends that are in jail. And I have friends that have, you know, graduated college and are successful. And she made sure I stayed on the right track, you know, with Coach Butchie and many others. So, you know, Mooney has played a big part in who I am. And then, you know, just being a city guy, you know, being a inner city South Side kid growing up, even as an adult, growing up and I mean, just raising my kids in the city and living on the South Side. So, where I live, my corner was a bus stop, and shopping at the same grocery stores and just seeing a lot of things that were going on, and just wanted to make an impact and change some lives. And Coach Shep brought me on board, and I mean, it's been a great ride. Over at East, for 2 years, made the playoffs, won a conference championship. This is my third year at Cheney. Just Still Valley champs this year. Putting kids in college. But, even besides that, just working in the school and just the daily interaction with the kids and just trying to be that positive influence and change lives and just change scenarios, for when they get older. It's been great. I talked to a few guys, Todd Thorne was one of them, and, and he said, once a cowboy, always a cowboy, and I'm a part of it. I'm etched in history. I appreciate it. I appreciate all the love and support, and and I'm gonna take everything with me that I've learned, that I've dealt with, that I've been a part of, and I'm gonna just keep growing.
Coach, you've always been a guy that just embodies the attitude of Youngstown, the grit city, the work ethic. What are some attributes that you've learned from the city of Youngstown that you kind of want to take with you to Charlotte and maybe teach some of those kids down there how we do it up here in the 330?
Yeah, I mean, we're hardcore. That's one thing about Youngstown. It's not I don't want to say it's not a pretty place, because I mean, Youngstown's beautiful, but we're hardcore. When you look at the history of Youngstown, the steel mills, steel is steel. It's hard. And then you go through with the years with the mafia and the drugs and the gangs. I've always said if you can survive Youngstown, you can make it anywhere. So it's just taking that toughness, that blue collar, that gritty, grindy, not scared to get dirty, do what you have to do to survive and make it to be the best. That's what I'm gonna take with me. It's just one of those things. I talk to my boys about it all the time. At practice, I've played and been around a lot of people that woulda, coulda, shoulda. And the difference between them, myself, and some of my friends are just some of the choices we made along the way, and it's just taking that competitiveness and that fight and all that stuff, down south. And I'm not sure how football is down there, but I know how my football team's going to be. So we'll see how it goes.
Coach, looking at everything that you've done with the Youngstown City Schools, I think it's unmatched. What is the biggest thing you've learned about yourself as a coach in your tenure from East to Cheney, Mooney, all of it? What is the biggest thing you've learned about yourself?
The biggest thing I probably learned about myself is, I guess at Mooney, I was able to just coach football, and we had guys there that wanted to play football. We had guys there that understood the program and the tradition and everything like that, and coming to Youngstown, the grind, it's I'm on call 24/7, so, the biggest thing I learned about myself is, as hard as the grind is and as much as people talk about it, it's just a process that you got to love. And I think, for me, just learning to trust that process, learning to appreciate that process, and just keep working to get through that process was probably the biggest thing that I've taken, from the city schools, for sure.
Coach, last question I have for you is, I mean, obviously you've been able to move a lot of young men up to the next level, whether it be D1, 2, 3, JUCO, things of that nature. When you told your team, you told your staff, how did they take it? I'm sure they were upset naturally because they don't want to lose you, but I got to feel that they were excited for you in the next phase of your life.
Yeah, I mean, it was, the coaches were very supportive. There's a handful of them that I'm pretty close with. So been talking to them about this, for a while. And they weren't trying to convince me one way or the other. They were just, more of an ear, listening to what I had to say. But breaking it to my boys was pretty tough. We had quite a few that were shocked. We had some that were hurt, but all, loving and supportive. They want me to be successful. I had guys say, hey, like, my mom won't care if I come down with you, so it's, that felt good. It was like, hey, as long as it's Coach Chris, they're not going to care if I go with you. So, that part felt good. But, just talking to them after, one at a time really made me feel a lot better. It was a hard conversation to have. I literally threw up several times just thinking about the conversation and trying to figure out if this is what I want to do. I mean, it literally made me sick to my stomach. But I know they'll be in good hands. Our junior class is phenomenal. And I think that's the class that's going to take Cheney over the top. And whoever Casey Bogert brings in, he's going to be the right guy, and he's going to have some great guys around him to make it happen. So, the guys that are coming back, a lot of them have offers. So that made it a little easier for me to know that at least I know that they're taken care of. They just have to finish what they started in school, and everything else will take care of itself. But, definitely tough, a couple tears, people a little upset and mad, and, a lot of hugging and I love yous after.
Coach, thank you so much for everything you've done for us. Your weekly staple on Coach's Corner with Steve every week, and you've taken more time than I know. Most of us here at YSN do on YSN. You're almost more than I am. So thank you for that. And always, if you need anything back in Youngstown, we know that we have your back here. So thank you for everything you've done, not just for us, but for the entire city of Youngstown, for raising the level of football here and the raising the level of young men and the standard of who young men from Youngstown need to be. So thank you for all of that.
Thank you. I truly appreciate it.
Thank you
guys. Thank you guys for everything as well.
You got it. Hey, and anytime you need YSN down in North Carolina, we'll get you taken care of down there too.
Sounds good. I appreciate it.
There he is, Chris Mill. I mean, honest to God, one of my favorite people. Just like, you want to talk about life changers. There's game changers and then there's life changers. And, you sit down with that gentleman for any time that he's willing to give you, and you're going to learn something about life. You know what I mean? Kids that come from nothing and going to D1 schools. Coach Mill is honestly one of the best genuine human beings there are, and there is out there. I wish nothing but the best for his entire family, and great things. In North Carolina has no idea what they're getting yet, but we know what we're losing. So Chris, we wish you the best in all your endeavors, man. Good luck.
He's a guy that he's been through so much, and I think it's great that he's able to take what he's been through, what he's experienced, and then use it to help kids that are probably going through some of the same things.
Yep, absolutely. We have another coach on now.
Now we're
Coach Matese.
Coach Don Matese, the Springfield girls basketball head coach. We're just rolling right with him.
What's going on, Coach?
Hi, guys. How you doing?
Coach, I mean, we got to look at what you got first and foremost going into this very tough MVAC this year, and it's going to be wide open. Talk to me a little bit about what you know, what you got coming back for your team, returning Letterman, and also some younger players that you think might step up this season.
Yeah, definitely. It really starts with our two juniors, Maddie Lesnack and JC Mullen. They'll be our big two this year. Obviously 2-year starters, 2-year letter winners. We do have a lot more returners than I even thought being on the boys side last year. We have 6 returning letter winners. We have 4 juniors in all. The other 2, Peyton Clem, Emily Gerthung. We have a sophomore, Ava Vecchione, who started a little last year. And then we have a new addition, Kayla Lamorticella. She played, I believe, her freshman year and lettered, and she'll be a senior this year. She came back out for us. So we have a really good mix of experience, good mix with the younger kids. We expect, probably 3 or 4 freshmen to help us on the varsity level. On top of, we have another senior, Grace Venturella, who came out this year. She's a soccer kid who's been doing tremendous at practice. Just she hasn't played since junior high, but she picked it right back up. We have just a really good mix between our returners and our freshmen.
Coach, what's it mean to you that several girls have come back out for basketball this year and have wanted to kind of re-immerse themselves with this program and make Springfield a place where you can really put together something special?
Mm-hmm. It means a lot. You guys know it. Numbers are down everywhere. There's some schools in our league don't have junior high teams. Some schools in our league don't have JV teams. So just to be able to get, we have 14 kids out this year for high school. We have, 2 full junior high teams. I went over to our elementary practice the other night. We had 20 kids down there. So just to kind of get them started early now and kind of be able to retain them is huge, for a program. If you have classes where you don't have anybody, you have 1 kid, 2 kids, it just makes it tough to be competitive year in and year out.
Coach, from a standpoint of, the entire area, you talk about the league you're in, the conference, graduating a ton of seniors last year, a ton of talent. And then instead of having to rebuild, you get to reload and you get to kind of say, hey, there's an opportunity here to grab the brass ring. That's exciting for you and the girls, right?
Yeah, exactly. We have that conversation every few days at practice. It's wide open. It's been McDonald and Western Reserve for the last few years. They lost a ton of talent. They're still going to be there, obviously, but we have everybody back except for 1 senior. I think Waterloo has everybody back except for 1 kid. They should be very good. Jackson Milton's always really good. Lowville has everybody back. Mineral Ridge has a new coach. They always have athletes. So, it's, there won't be any gimmies this year. That's for sure.
Obviously, looking at this tough schedule, it's going to definitely require these girls to step up and improve in some areas. So what is the biggest areas of growth that you've seen from the girls going into this season?
We're starting to figure out after a couple weeks kind of how we have to play, especially defensively, if we want to really have the success we think we can. We went up to Canfield for a scrimmage last week and they beat us up pretty good. And it was kind of like, hey, this is what we're trying to get to. And so just the mentality of being aggressive, we don't want to sit back and play zone. We don't want to sit back and, be slow. You guys know it. I grew up with my dad. So that's style, get out and run, get out and pressure, and just getting them to that point where, they're looking to be aggressive. They're looking to get out and run as opposed to walking it up. That's the biggest mindset change that we're trying to instill in them. And I feel like we've come a long way in just a couple weeks.
Coach, seemingly every year, people talk about mottos and the stuff that you put on the back of a T-shirt. What's the character of the 21-22 Tigers?
I would say, you hate to say back to basics, but we do fundamentals every day, even at the varsity level, we're just doing stuff. We're trying to get better every day. We're trying to, we tell the girls, just get better every day. Do what you can do, know your role. So that's kind of what we're getting back to. It's not going to be, we're not going to be successful if it's just 1 or 2 girls doing everything. It's got to be everybody locked in, playing the way we want to play. I'll be honest, if there's a number of girls, we could play 11 girls this year varsity. We can play 12 girls. It just depends on how many of them can pick up what we're trying to do. Because we have the athletes in the freshman class. We have the older kids coming back that have the experience. So it's just kind of, figuring out what we're trying to do, knowing your role, and being able to go out and execute.
So we've seen it. You're probably going to see it again a time or two during your season. Is sometimes coaches only have 5-6 girls that they can utilize on the floor because everybody's just trying to play catch up. If you've got 10 or 11, maybe even 12, that advantage you because you can cycle out fresh legs all game long and keep your talented players on the floor. Maybe if somebody's not having their night, you can sub some in. That's a great weapon to have as a coach.
Yeah, definitely. And that's what we've been trying to, beat into them that, if you're out there, you can go 100% because, we can take you out for 2 minutes and you're coming right back in. Unfortunately, players get in that habit sometimes, they try to hold back, they try to conserve because they know, hey, I got to play 32 minutes tonight. But we're just trying to get them into that mindset. Go as hard as you can for as long as you can. We'll get you out, we'll get you a blow, and then we'll get you back in.
Coach, you said it. You were brought up with your dad's style of basketball. You're going to try to implement it, but McDonald's going to be on that schedule twice, and your dad's going to be on the sidelines across from you. What's that going to be like coaching against your dad?
Well, we didn't have much success the first few times. My brother Zach is one of my assistants this year. He was my assistant when I was at Middle Ridge, and my dad was at South Range. So he beat us up pretty good back then. We're hoping to have a little better showing this year. Obviously, they lose a lot, but they're always going to play defense. They're always going to be tough, hard nosed. So it'll be a good challenge. I know we go up there pretty early. They're our first league game, and we got to go up there on the road. So I know they'll be ready for us. That'll be a good test for us early in the season.
Looking at a lot of the athletes that you're bringing in this season, Coach, they're having success a lot in other sports. Do you believe in that success breeds success kind of mindset? And do you think them having successful seasons in these other sports is going to help carry over into this season?
Yeah, definitely. I coached the boys JV for the last 6 years. So, I saw it on their end. Football has obviously had a tremendous run, roll it right into basketball. It's all the same kids. So they just know how to win, roll it into baseball, roll it into kids make state and track every year. And it's the same thing with the girls. They've had tremendous success in soccer for a number of years now. Volleyball's always good. So it's just, it's one of those things where if you know how to win, you know how to, finish games, you just expect that. A lot of it's a mentality. If you go in, you're expecting to win, that you're good, that goes a long way to maybe make up for some deficiencies you have in other places.
Coach, when you look at the non-conference schedule that you guys have put together this year and the teams that you're going to play outside of the tough MVAC that you're in, who are some names that pop up for you guys, and what challenges are you most excited for to get you ready for the tournament time?
Yeah, we have 3 big ones right off the bat. Our first 3 games, Crestview, Liberty, Brookfield. Crestview's well coached. They're always pretty good. Liberty, we have to go up there. They beat us up last year, and then Brookfield, I think they won 18, 19 games last year, made a district final. So, that's going to be a big early test to get through those 3, see what we have. And then over Christmas, Columbiana, East Palestine, well-coached teams, United, we got to go down there. And then the end of the year, we got to a couple bigger schools, Hubbard and LeBray. So it's pretty spaced out. It's pretty good competition for us to get us ready for the tournament.
Coach, we also want to do a sort of meet the staff segment too before we let you go. So go ahead and give a shout out to all your assistants and all those big proponents that are going to be helping you out along the way this season.
Yeah, sure. I mentioned my brother already, my brother Zach. He wasn't on the sideline the last couple of years with my dad, but, behind the scenes, watching film, doing game planning, that kind of thing. Just has great instincts as a coach. When we're together, it's always, hey, I think we should switch to zone. I think we should, maybe put a press on. And, 9 out of 10 times after we make that switch, we go on a run, so he's pretty good. And then Coach Diana Mullen, she was with the girls the last few years. And she's been tremendous, just to kind of keep some continuity on the staff, but also, hey, she has all the elementary kids' phone numbers. She has the coaches' phone numbers. She can tell me what we do for team dinner. She can tell me, who we order the uniforms from. So just to have somebody like that where you're not, rebuilding the whole thing, where you can just kind of keep everything in place at your elementary level, at your junior high level, and just keep going from there, has been tremendous. And then, just obviously the administration, our AD Mark Harden's tremendous. Anything we need, I talk to him almost every day. We're never not on the same page. We never go without. So, it's just a tremendous place to coach, and, I'm very lucky.
Coach, we know very well the Springfield community is strong and supportive, and you know it well too, because you spent the last 6 years with the boys on their side. How excited are you guys to get back to the community, coming out to games and being able to feed off the energy that you'll get from a full crowd?
Yeah, you're exactly right. I never experienced anything like, for a lot of our big games, I would come out of halftime of that JV locker room and, there wasn't a seat to be had. So, they're going to come out, if you put a good product on the floor, they're going to come out and watch you. They're going to come out and support. It's everywhere. It's a Facebook. It's, having parents come out and help out with the elementary program. It's just kind of anything you need. It always seems like there's people ready to step up, ready to support, ready to help you. So, that's just huge when you want to have, not just a good team, you want to have a good program, you want to build it, and keep the younger kids involved, keep everybody involved. So it's just I've even from being in it the last 6 years, it surprised me just how many people are there waiting and willing to help.
Coach, we thank you for your time today. We look forward to covering you all season and seeing how this year is going to go for Springfield. Best of luck. And we know that we'll talk to you again real soon.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks a lot, guys.
Good luck, Coach.
Thank you.
Coach John Mattizi, the head coach of the Springfield girls basketball program, first-year head coach for him. But when it's a family like the Mattizis, no worries about taking up the mantle.
No, I don't think he's going to have any trouble earning his stripes, so to speak, in Tiger Country. I think everybody knows what they get in Coach Mattizi. And you got a couple Mattizis now in Tiger Country. So, and then listen, with Christmas right around the corner, all Coach Mattizi has to do to Dad is say, listen, it all depends. Your gift depends on what happens in our games. You can either get a lump of coal or you can get something really, really nice. So the choice is yours. Which list do you want to be on when Santa Claus comes around December 25th? But no, in all seriousness, I think, he knows what he gets in that Springfield community. And, I think that with the graduation class of 2021, the brass ring is there. The opportunities are there. It is a wild, wild west out there in the MVAC. And when you look at it, my goodness, that could be one of the most fun conferences to watch this year from boys and girls perspectives.
Teams like Jackson, Milton, and Springfield that are returning a lot of juniors from last year that were very good in this league. Talking about Kylie Wilson and Jackson Milton. You're talking about JC Mullen in Springfield. It's kind of wide open for them. The
Don't count out Waterloo.
I was going to say, Kara English plays for Waterloo, so you have to watch out.
Waterloo's even younger. They have a bunch of sophomores that are coming back from a freshman year where they got a lot of time.
But then can you ever count out a Western Reserve or McDonald or some of these programs, especially out there, are built in first grade. Mm-hmm. When they can dribble a basketball, they're learning what the varsity is going through. So, we have a ton. And this is – I'm going to argue that we have so much talent in girls basketball in this area that people just don't know about. And we're going to put an emphasis this year. You talked to Josh Sigler yesterday. Mm-hmm. I'm excited for United.
They're terribly talented.
The kingdom of United. You know what I mean? And it's going to be good. But you look at Springfield, you look at Water. I mean, you can go up and down that wall that's sitting over here, and you can go, going to be good, going to be good, going to be good, going to be good. Who's going to lose? That's why every night on YSN is going to be absolutely chaotic, because it's going to be hard to pick who's going to win and who's going to lose on any given night.
And it starts in a week. Yep. Next Friday is game day for a lot of girls teams around the area.
I want to say we're ready for everybody, all the basketball fans at home. I want to say we're ready, but if you know me, we're not. But we always make it work. So we're all. And I know Chris Sigler is watching. I know I've been telling you for a month, you better get ready for basketball. Well, we're ready. We're ready to go. We got the announcers lined up. We're ready to go. Ty's ready to call 107 games himself, which we love. And Anth, you'll be the voice of some great basketball games, and we'll be floating all over the place together. So basketball with 753 games last year was the bar. We're shooting for 1,000 this year. If we can get 1,000 basketball games alone, we're in uncharted territory.
We've been breaking records all year, so let's just break some.
Just
more.
Call us Eric Church, man. We're having a record year.
I'm constantly on the phone with Paul Munson, too, on schools I wasn't at last year. So as long as you guys aren't covered and you don't have set announcers, I'm trying to visit everyone. So I've already brought up Campbell. I brought up Heartland Christian. So there's some schools on my list that I'm already good to go as far as I'm concerned. But there's other ones we're looking at.
They'll roll out the red carpet for you, Ty. They know your favorite color is red.
They know that every time he shows up, it's going to be a good game.
Oh, yeah. So. Whoever's supposed to win that game, heavily favored, is going to be like, get out, get out now. No, we appreciate it, and I'm excited, man. When we challenge ourselves here, the way that coaches challenge their players, when we challenge ourselves here to go up by 250 games. We usually come through. So Paul's up to the challenge. I know that. Anthony, you're up to the challenge. Ty's up to the challenge. I'm up to we're going to be breathing basketball, boys and girls, for the next, 4 months, 5 months? Yeah. So
take a breath while you can.
We might be having a pick show every single day for the last 15 minutes, Anthony, for basketball. We might have to, honestly.
gonna go 999 and 1. That's gonna be fun. Can we? I don't know. When's your next interview supposed to
We
be?
don't have one until 1:15. So
All
we
right.
have a break.
Let's talk about Crestview before, because we were
Right.
supposed to lead the show with this, and obviously we didn't make it. But some special stuff last night in Port Clinton. And by the way, if you're Jeff Bezos, Port Clinton is nowhere near Myrtle Beach or the Pacific Ocean. It's Lake Erie. So Jeff and I had some fun last night. But Crestview comes out on top. He trailed 2-1, right? And that feeling that the referees were against you, the world was against you, the weight of the world was on Crestview. Then a yellow card happened. Carter Blakeman gets a yellow card. We have no idea what that means, right? So Jeff and I are sitting there thinking he's done for the match,
Right. That's
because they pulled him out.
Yeah.
So the yellow card means you're done for like 5 minutes until the next stoppage of play. Then you get to go back in. We thought he was done for the game. The way that he reacted, we thought he was done, but we were being corrected on Facebook. Excuse me. But that lit a fire under Nick Novak and the Crestview Rebels. And Novak comes in, scores the tying goal at 2-2. Then they score 2 more. And I got to be honest, man. It was for not being a soccer guy, surprise to everybody. That was one of the most entertaining matches in sports that I've ever called. That was fun. It was absolutely fun.
Nick Novak, the more you watch him, he pulls off the impossible. That last goal he scored, it looked like there was nothing to be had. And he just got off the side of his foot, went around a couple of people, goal.
He cut through like butter. I mean, it was unbelievable. And Jeff, you can hear him. We'll have the highlights out here after I get out of here.
Right.
But you can hear him go, ooh, 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 ooh.
Right.
You know, and then he scored. And then the goal call.
I love how you guys just turned into fans. Like, go Nick, go. You know,
We can be.
Right,
And
it's
like honestly, like when you listen to YSN and when you watch YSN and you think we're homers, you're not even scratching the surface on how homerish we can be.
Right.
Unfortunately for Ottawa Hills, they're not a YSN school, and we were complete homers last night. But that's the beauty of it. We're fans. Like you call us homers, we call ourselves fans. I don't know soccer. Admittedly, Jeff does. I don't know how, but he does. And we were both fans last night. And Crestview Soccer made two big fans made a lot of fans last night. If you watch the ratings that we had, but we have some post game. Do you want to get to the post game?
We have Sam Campbell and Nick Novak. Let's hear from Nick Novak first.
Talk to me. You guys were down 2-1 and came all the way back. What changed?
Well, you know, whenever a team goes up, usually they tend to take off the gas and go more defensive. So as soon as they scored, I walked over to our team and I was like, we're going to get chances now. We're going to get chances. Dig deep, they're going to take off gas. And it only took us about 2 minutes. We got the ball down there, got a goal, and this crowd just changed the momentum. Then we got that second goal, or third goal, and it was over. We just had all the momentum, and we got one more on top of that. It was unbelievable.
What does it mean to have a crowd like this come all the way 3 hours away to support you?
Well, it's insane. It's a heck of a community. It's just to have this crowd energy literally won us the game, I believe. That energy in the stadium is just amazing.
You are 3 days away from a state championship, the first of its kind in Crestview. Talk to me about what it means to you.
It's unbelievable, honestly. I can't believe it's actually happening. We said it in the beginning of the season we had a chance, but I don't think anyone really believed that we'd be here right now. No one else around us. We've been the 6th seed all year, and it's crazy we're going to the state championship.
Man, we've done a lot of really cool post-game interviews and a lot of big moments. That's one of my favorites.
What a fantastic interview, though.
Well, he's exciting to watch on the pitch. Jeff was correcting me all night, but field pitch, whatever it is, he's exciting to watch, and he's that much more of an exciting young man to interview because you could see there, and that was after 10 minutes. Like I tried to give them a cool down period, let them celebrate with their team. That's how I feel. Like if I was in their shoes, I want to celebrate with my team, and then we'll do business, right? Other people, not so much, and I feel bad for that. And I'm not saying it's not a shame on them, but these are still kids doing something that's never been done, ever. And you're pulling the coaches away, and you're pulling because you got deadlines. And I understand all that, but let them celebrate. Right. Like let them have it. There's a reason that even in Major League Baseball and then NBA and NFL, like you take a beat before you're interviewing people because you got to let them live in the moment a little bit. Yeah, we want that raw reaction that we got from Nick, but at the end of the day, he's a kid, and he may never have the opportunity to have something like that, a moment like that again, and to rob him of that, I felt was not fair to him and his family. So I waited 10 minutes or so and interviewed him and Sam Campbell here.
Yeah.
Sam Campbell, again, unbelievable in that. Talk about being down 2-1. This team keeping their composure and coming out with
they got up on us, and we're known to hang our head in the past, but we were able to come back, get another quick goal after they scored. That's what it was all about, just playing that 0-0 game.
You played aggressive in that second half. Talk to me about what you guys talked about at halftime and how you adjusted.
It was a lot more offense. We kept clearing through the middle where everyone was, so we wanted to clear more to the outside, which is what allowed us to get some more crosses and some shots. Defense was sound. We just had to tighten up a few things.
72 hours between now and Saturday. You going to be able to sleep?
Probably not.
He's honest. Probably not.
Yeah, and that was, I actually got Sam first, right? Because Nick was already pulled away doing some other things for some other media outlets. And again, I'm not trying to trash them for pulling them off, but like, I just wanted to enjoy the moment with them. As a fan, the coolest thing last night that we didn't even get to utilize from our standpoint was there was a gentleman, and I wish I knew his name and I wish I would have talked to him, but they were selling Crestview Rebel flags, black ones, gold ones, that they were flying in the stands. All the money raised goes back to the boys soccer team. And I thought that was awesome. Awesome. That was I believe it was a parent that was doing that. And to look out from the field into the stands, I have to believe that Columbiana and New Waterford was all there last night. I saw Clipper jackets. I saw, Crestview, you saw people unite. And the coolest thing about our job here at YSN isn't necessarily, the day-to-day. It's cool. Don't get me wrong. But when you get to this point in the season where there's one team left from the area or two teams left from the area, everybody becomes fans of those teams. Right. We support them, whether they are your rival or not. To see a Columbiana Clipper cheer for a Crestview Rebel is like dogs and cats living together, and you sit there and you go, this is cool, because that's what sports is supposed to do. And, from a soccer standpoint, we don't cover soccer nearly as well as we should, but that's because we don't want to disrespect the sport. I don't know enough about it. We're trying to bring people in that do. And now everybody's got Rebel fever and everybody wants us. Unfortunately, we are not going to be at the state championship game because the OHSA has the rights to that game, and they charge you an arm and a leg. Like last night's was $200 for live stream. I think it's like $500 for a delayed stream. So we don't even you don't even get to celebrate on YSN live. You have to go, I believe, the pay-per-view on Spectrum, right, the way you do for football, and pay whatever that is, $9.99 or $12.99, whatever it is.
Unless you're one of the few people in the area that are actually a Spectrum
the unicorns.
The unicorns out there.
Yeah, I don't like that part of it. I get it because there's a partnership there, but Rebel Nation showed up last night and everybody was bleeding black and gold. It was cool to see on Facebook, really cool to see on our website, really cool to see just all over. There were people taking pictures of the YSN on their television. To me, that's beautiful. Yeah, that's awesome.
I saw a bunch of Rebel alumni from successful sports team in the past. This soccer team might not be on this stage before, but they are a very proud soccer program that has had success throughout their history. They a bunch of alums were sharing our stuff. We saw a bunch of social media interaction with just a graphic final score. The community really showed up.
Yesterday, I have to point this out because this was one of the coolest moments of my day. Zach Garwood was a young man who loved soccer. And years ago, they built the Zach Garwood complex on the campus of Crestview High School. And all those boys took a picture around the memorial or the entrance of Zach Garwood. And that spoke to me because the tradition of Crestview goes through. Everybody goes on that field, and it goes all the way up. And they got this beautiful facility right now that they can play games on, and they still choose to play at Garwood. And I love it. I know it meant a lot to me, and I'm not even an alum. And I know it meant a lot to guys like Greg Burbick, who helped build that field and construct that field. And he was telling me the story today. Crestview was due. and there was it was just cool to feel the momentum last night. And in a sport that we don't cover very well or cover very often, Crestview, I will say this, changed that for me last night. The same way that we're doing things with the sideline reporter, Crestview changed that. There's a lot of soccer to come next year on YSN.
We're excited. We've had soccer coaches on the show all year.
Yep, you guys.
We're diving into talking to these coaches and seeing how excited they are about the sport. And there's just a lot of soccer to be had, a lot of talent in our area. You look at it. We've had 3 years in a row. Someone from our area has been in the state semifinal.
Yeah, and we have to adjust accordingly, right? So soccer's a heavy sport now. It's people are doing it from the time they're in kindergarten. So let's we're going to make that a heavy focus of ours. And nights like last night, we want 100 of them. We want to celebrate every one of these teams on our wall the way that we did Crestview last night, the way that we do in football, the way we do in basketball and volleyball, and baseball and softball and everything. We want to celebrate. So for us, this is an open invitation for anybody that knows soccer, loves soccer, and wants to do some broadcasting and make some money. It's go time. The proof is in the pudding. And last night, the pudding was stirred up, man, because the Rebels were ready to eat, and now they're on their way to Columbus. Love it. Can't wait.
Saturday at lower.com field in Columbus, the home of the Columbus Crew.
1 p.m. Yep, 1 p.m. So we're excited for that, and obviously big things to come. We're hoping the Rebels come home with a state championship trophy.
They will play Grandview Heights, who the only common opponent, Ottawa Hills. Grandview Heights beat them 2-0. So interesting.
Just a heavy dose of Nick Novak and,
right.
and Carter Blakeman played his ass off last night, and it was a big situation for him, and he could have just absolutely deflated the team after getting that yellow card. But when he got back in, man, it was almost like he was playing 10 times out of his body more than he was and he was playing unbelievable soccer, defensive soccer.
Just to put it in perspective, that was an Ottawa Hills team that had given up 10 goals all season. And Crestview just scored 4.
Almost doubled it. You know what I mean? It's or you know what I mean? So
right.
you look at that and you go, because I looked at those stats and I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, okay, this is going to be offense versus defense.
Right.
And how long can Ottawa Hills keep Crestview out? So when Crestview scored the first goal, I was like, okay, this is going to be done. It's going to be similar to the other games that they've played this year. Nope. They came back, scored 2. They scored 1. It was 1-1 at halftime. And they scored another one after that. And then Crestview just took over after that yellow card. They said, we're going to be aggressive, and it cost us a goal. But, you're going to have to beat us at our game instead of us playing yours.
The equalizer was an own goal, basically brought on by Crestview's defensive pressure. Their defense played really well last night, too.
Yeah, and I don't understand. I tried to compare it to hockey about 70 times, and Jeff wasn't having any of it. But I say, just clear the ball. Like they always say, clear the puck in the playoffs. Clear the ball. Clear it. But apparently in hockey, it's about possession, and I don't know that. So I got a goal call last night for my Bonino call for all you Penguins fans out there. So I got a little excited. Jeff got a little – I thought he was going to pass out.
He was over it.
First goal, he was completely turned beet red. And I was like, I think Jeff's having a heart attack here. I think we're going to need a medic.
I told everybody, too, they were in for a treat the second I heard Jeff Bezos was on the call, because I said if you heard anything of Brookfield and LeBray last year in the playoffs, the excitement he brings. So it was going to be a great night no matter what.
You can hear the high fives when the Crestview scores. You can hear the high fives in the booth between Jeff and I. We're slapping. We're Bonino. Like it was fun. I had a great time announcing soccer. I would do it again. But that's high stakes soccer. You know what I mean? That's different than regular season, which I'm still excited to cover because now I know some of the rules. Like Jeff explained offsides to me last night.
It's hard to grasp, and
don't understand it still, but he explained it to me, so I get it a little bit. Excuse me.
No stoppage time in high school. See, that took a while.
Jeff could not understand.
Like I was like, oh wait, okay, we're gonna have some stop. Nope, not in high school. Into the clock is into the clock.
Yeah, and that's.
Which is right.
I think so, because, how many officials can you get there?
Right.
In an official shortage, how many officials can you honestly get to the field and have stoppage time? because sometimes there's only going to be like 30 seconds, 40 seconds of stoppage time. So
we were told that this place they were playing at was like a soccer mecca. It looked like a football. Like, was it like a?
No, this was not a soccer mecca. There was no damn parking lot. I'm going around. Like, you had, as Jeff would say, the ocean here. You had Lake Erie. You had a couple streets. I mean, beautiful homes.
Right.
And then you had like, and I don't want to say that it was a bad facility. It was a nice facility. It wasn't as big as Boardman. It wasn't as, maybe a little smaller than South Range. I don't understand why that was the site.
The defense was it was a big spot for soccer, and then I'm watching that broadcast saying, this looks like a typical football field.
No, I mean, you're maybe Salem, maybe, but Salem has a better video board. Like they were like, look at the video board, and I'm like, where is it? Oh, there it is. It's they have one of those old school. I mean, I say old school, scoreboards, but like not the digital scoreboard.
Right.
They had the digital like picture, the video on top. But I mean, I don't want to take anything away from Port Clinton because they were very nice and very cordial. I don't understand why that was a state semifinal. I really don't. And to be in the same county as the team that they were playing last night, like, what? We got to drive 3 hours and you got to drive 45 minutes.
Didn't matter one bit. Crest Shooters, road warriors all night.
Yeah, and now they get another 3 hour drive, but this one's for the ship, man.
At least it's on a Saturday.
At 1 o'clock, so you can imagine they left at 11, I believe.
Yeah, I think the coaches were most excited because they had the school credit card. They could use it for lunch.
Oh boy.
They were like, let's go.
You'll probably see a decent amount. As long as, work isn't an issue on Saturday, Friday night, you'll probably see a lot of them probably just go up and get a hotel.
I have to imagine that's the case. I mean, we're getting people that are just hammering us to go to this game.
Yeah.
We can't.
Yeah.
We can go and report,
right.
But I'm not going to send unless they really want to go. I'm not going to send somebody down there to just report on the game because our partners at 21 are doing. They used our highlights last night, and how I got to believe that Dana and the boys are going to be down there, on Saturday. So we'll utilize their stuff. But like, if we're not going to get the game, what are we doing? We have to be smart as well. And it's not that we don't want to be there, but we can't do our job. We're YSN Live. We do the games live. It's not ysndelayed.com. It's YSN Live. So, boys, I'm going to go do some paperwork, so everybody gets paid. And I appreciate you letting me in on the show. And obviously, let me be part of some of these interviews. Ty, keep doing a great job. Anthony, same with you, man. You guys have an absolute unbelievable over the last 2 months, the amount of coaches that you guys – kudos to you, because the Valley, this is what they've needed since day one. And I know we talk about this off air, but I'm going to say it on air. You guys are the best in the business of getting coaches on here and talking about their programs and allowing them to highlight their kids, their staffs. Kudos to you, man. Best in the business.
Yeah, and today's one of those days where we appreciate them as much because they're being flexible a little bit with the breaking news. We had to move some people around. They were all open to it, and we can't thank the coaches enough for being open to us as much as we're open to them.
Awesome. Keep doing great things, boys. Be well.
And we're in just a few moments' time should be getting some more interviews taken care of here.
We have Matt Reel coming up at 1:15, and then Sarah Hamilton of the Salem girls basketball team coming up at 1:30. And that'll kind of, we're just going to keep trucking. We're going to take our first break of the day, maybe pay some bills. And then we'll be back with more on ysnlive.com. Running Point brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown.
New things happen all day. Some are good, some not so good. In today's complicated world, while you're busy working, playing, and living life, we're busy helping you make sense of the day's news. And there's only one place where it comes together with clarity, context, and accountability. It's 21 News at 6 with me, Madison Tromler, and Derek Steyer.
21 News at 6. It's what the day's news really means to you.
Welcome home to a home made homier with Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods. Inspiration starts at BairdBrothers.com. and is turned into reality when high-quality hardwoods are delivered right to your home. Baird Brothers has the latest design trends: shiplap and skinny lap interior siding, antique oak rustic flooring, and, well, you'll find them all at BairdBrothers.com. Ordered easily, delivered conveniently, enjoyed comfortably. BairdBrothers.com.
At Greenwood Chevrolet, shop with confidence knowing we're ready to go the extra mile for you. With the largest selection of used vehicles in the Valley, backed by the Greenwood Advantage Warranty. Every one of our vehicles has undergone our own 126-point inspection, so it passes the most important inspection, yours. No other dealership has the extra inventory, gives you extra for your trade, and goes the extra mile for you. Only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
WRS Wealth Advisors, the area's premier wealth and retirement specialists. Located on South Avenue in Boardman.
Quality, customer service, and integrity. Those are the 4 words that have driven our success since 1957 at Joe Dickey Electric.
Joe Dickey Electric is one Mahoning Valley landmark business that stays current with the requirements of our customers. Family owned and managed, we are an electrical contractor and energy solutions provider. Every member of our team adds to his or her skill set through ongoing training. Residential, commercial, industrial, automotive, and more. We keep ahead of the needs of our customers with a fleet of more than 50 vehicles and 24/7 emergency service, so you're never left in the dark.
When looking for home design inspiration, don't just be inspired, be Baird inspired. Whether new or remodeling, Baird Brothers has the latest trends like shiplap to refresh your home. Go from inspiration to installation with our wide selection of in-stock American hardwoods. From the rustic charm of antique oak to the warmth of traditional cherry, Baird Brothers has what you need to make your home inspiring. Baird Brothers, our family's heritage, your family's home.
For a great vehicle and a great experience, come to Boardman Mitsubishi today. As always, our full lineup of Mitsubishi models comes with a standard 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. Boardman Mitsubishi, your hometown Mitsubishi dealer since 1999.
Coca's Pizza, always supporting our community and our local athletes. Stop in on game day or score big and have it delivered right to your door. Check out our daily specials at cocaspizza.com. That's Coca's Pizza, we serve it hot.
At Hubbard Chevrolet, Hubbard can help you get the financing you need, regardless of your situation. I'm Tony Page, and I've helped thousands of customers in Northeast Ohio and Western Pennsylvania buy a vehicle. Visit HubbardChevy.com to get pre-approved. Remember, folks, Hubbard can help.
You're not waiting to see what the world has in store for you. It's more about what you have in store for the world. All you need is the opportunity. All you need are the resources of a large university and the advantages of a personalized academic setting where you can experience new worlds in the arts and sciences, business, and education and make them your own. We are where you shape your future. We are Youngstown State University and proud.
Welcome back to Running Point on ysnlive.com, brought to you by our good friends over at Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. Anthony Hartwig alongside Ty Bartell as we continue this Thursday edition. We're going to be talking to Matt Reel, the head coach of the Canfield Cardinals girls team, in a little bit. And then we'll be talking to Sarah Hamilton, the head coach of the Salem Quakers girls team as well today at 1:30. Ty, what a great first half. I know we kind of flew in a whirlwind the first half of that show. We had a lot to kind of talk about and unpack.
Yeah, no doubt. But we're going to go right into a couple interviews, and this show is probably going to be over before we know it.
But for people that are just joining us, while we take a breath before we get Matt Reel on, breaking news today that we broke earlier in the show: Krista Mill is stepping down as the head coach of the Cheney Cowboys football team to pursue a new coaching opportunity in Charlotte that he was offered and he will be going down there to start up a football program. I mean, how many opportunities do you get where you can say you can start a program and build it yourself and kind of mold it how you want to mold it? That's what he'll be doing, and we definitely thank him for his time and graciously coming on our show to kind of help us break that news. That was earlier today. If you missed it, we can't talk highly enough of Coach Emil and the leadership he shows and what he's meant to the Youngstown city.
Yeah, no doubt. Coach Emil, one of the biggest class acts in the entire city, does a great job in the development of youth and getting them on to the next level. And he's definitely going to be missed, but we wish him the best in his future endeavors.
And when you talk about football in the area, he's one of the big names that kind of pops up. We have talked so many times how blessed we are of coaches in the area, whether it be football coaches, the basketball coaches we're talking to. We have a plethora. I'm using that running point word, by the way, plethora. A plethora of great coaches in baseball and softball as well. Blessed with amazing leaders, and he's one of them.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
So as we move on and we get ready to talk about Canfield girls basketball, they're playing in the AAC. That Ty, it's going to be very interesting this year. You know, Warren Harding, another team, another big graduating class last year. No more Birch, no more a lot of players that made them extremely talented. Now they still have. I mean, their program's going to be fine. I'm not saying that Warren Harding is in a down year, but like a lot of conferences, the big monster lost a lot of seniors, and it might be wide open for a team like Canfield.
Yeah, no doubt. And I mean, there's a lot of things open in the basketball realm this year, and AAC looks no different. Howland's going to bring back a lot. Fitch is bringing back a decent amount as well. So is Boardman. So it's going to be an interesting year.
Yeah, and you look at Boardman, Coach Green going into his second year with the Spartans, and Howland has a second-year head coach as well. So, and we've talked to a lot of coaches that started last year, and they've said countless times that with the COVID 2020 season, it was kind of like year zero. You couldn't do much. You couldn't really focus on building a program because you were just focusing on day-to-day, are we going to have basketball? So now a lot of these coaches that are going into their second year in the program are really kind of a de facto year one.
Yeah, honestly. And I mean, that's why it's going to be a fun year. A lot of things are going to be wide open this year.
So when you look at the AAC, and you cover Fitch a lot, Zeta Creaky's going to come back. Junior? Want to say junior?
Yeah, junior.
Whew. Got that right? You have so many names to try to keep track of who's in what class. But yeah, junior Zeta Creaky coming back. Man, she's an outside threat. Austintown Fitch will have her coming back. It's going to be a very fun AAC.
Yeah, no doubt. And I mean, it's going to just be interesting to see who's going to take those steps. I have yet to see how Zeta's been over the course of the summer, but I know she's a basketball junkie, and I know she's going to be working, or she probably has been working diligently at it. So I'm curious to see how her development and growth has looked in basketball, and she's only going to get better.
DJ had the opportunity to interview Coach Jeff Wilson a little bit earlier today, so we're going to be debuting that interview on Running Point tomorrow. But it's going to be interesting to hear from who are some names that are going to step up in this program to be other factors of their success, because they too lost a pretty big senior class.
Yeah, no doubt. So, I mean, there's going to be a lot of changes and a lot of new names you're going to be seeing in a lot of these leagues, and the AAC is no different.
And, I'm not even scared a little bit, because how many times have we seen programs, whether it be football, baseball, basketball, volleyball, whatever it may be, they lose a big star, they lose a big senior class, and the next year everyone goes, well, they're finally going to have a down year, but good programs just find a way to succeed. You know what I'm saying? I mean, so for these programs we're talking about, and DJ brought it up, you can't sleep on Western Reserve and McDonald just because they lost the likes of Kennedy Miller and Molly Howard and Danielle Volatich, et cetera, et cetera. They're great programs for a reason. They're more than one player, and they're going to be heard from in their respective conferences.
Yeah, I mean, that's what makes successful programs successful is longevity. And if they are down, they're never out of it for super long. And I think that's going to be much of the case again here when we talk about Austin Town too. And I mean, the down year you could say last year at 5-14, but they were competitive to some degree in each one of those games. It was just finishing games in the second half that was really the problem for them. But bringing in Jeff Wilson, which I think is a very good coach, he did assistant coaching, so he knows the program. He's been under the program and he knows what it means to be a Falcon. And I think a lot of the young players that are coming back this year are what's going to really propel this team this year. And I think being led by some of the shooters that they have is what's really going to make this team fun this year.
5-14 against a really tough schedule isn't anything to kind of hang your head about. I mean, obviously no one ever wants to go 5-14, but the schedule that they're able to play is just unreal.
As Coach Real is letting us know too, he's having trouble saying no microphone for him trying to get on to the show today. So it's having trouble reading Coach Real's audio. So we could, I mean, if we want to have Coach Real call in, we could try to do that. Okay.
You definitely, you know the number, right?
Yeah.
Send to him. So 330-886-0813, the number to reach. And hopefully we can get Coach Real at least on the phone line and talk to him before the end of the show. You know, when you talk about Coach Real, he is one of my oldest friends in the basketball realm in the area. You know, he was the head coach of South Range when I was a freshman and sophomore at South Range, and you know, when the joke around why is Anthony is the master of women's sports. You know, he's the guy that knows the most about it, whatever it may be. A lot of that I can contribute to the way that Coach Real treated me as a fan back when I was in high school, and he was the head coach of the program at South Range. So I owe a lot to Coach Real, and he's one of the OGs in the Anthony Hartwig sports fandom.
He has his own special place in Anthony's mantle.
He's the real deal. You know what I'm saying? Unintended.
But no, it's definitely going to be an interesting Cardinals team this year, and I think with what they're returning, Cardinals again were a team that was pretty young this last year, so it's going to be a fun AAC, I think, going into this season.
Alyssa Dill is going to be the biggest name on that team.
Yeah, no doubt.
He knows it.
No doubt.
But they lose a pretty decent senior class too.
Yeah, and I mean that's what makes this AAC fun is everyone lost a little bit, but everyone's bringing back some talent too, so it's gonna be fun.
Along with Alyssa Dill, you also have Abby Muckleroy, who we saw take big steps in volleyball, now going to be taking big steps in basketball as well.
Yeah, and Abby's a very good basketball player at that too. I got a chance to see her play last year. Plays very hard, plays a tough defense, and if she's able to develop her scoring some more, she's going to be very dangerous.
Oh, Matt Real popping in. He must have fixed his problems. Coach, thank you. Are you hearing us?
See, he's on, but we're not hearing him. He's probably hearing us, but I don't think we're hearing him. You could try calling in at 330-886-0813. We could keep the video on, and then we could have your phone line up, and we could
yeah, we could do that.
We could try doing that too, and then we'll have your voice on through the thing, so you could hear us. You could hear me then too. We'll get around the glitch gremlins today.
Way to be innovative, Ty.
Yeah, 330-886-0813, Coach.
Glitch gremlins got nothing on us, man.
Anthony will be awaiting.
Let me see. I think I have Canfield logo here.
There you go.
It's Coach Real. Coach, can you hear me?
I can.
Awesome. This is great. So we have your audio on your phone and we have your video up. And thank you so much for coming on today.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Coach, first and foremost, what we always like to do is a sort of meet the team segment. We were mentioning Alyssa Dill and Abby Muckleroy before you came on, but what are some of the other big proponents of this team this year as a lot of young players coming into this AAC?
We have a lot of returning players. We probably the other two that you need to really think about are Summer Samron. She's really kind of makes us go. She's our point guard. Really can break down a defense. She does a nice job for us. Gianna DeLucia was also a second-team performer, all-conference last year. She's doing a really nice job for us here in the preseason. We have some talented juniors. We have Kate Sully, Carly Harmon, in addition to Abby Muck, Emmy Rubin coming on. Alyssa Dill's sister, Cameron, played some point guard for us also. We have a couple seniors that won some letters in the past and some trying to get involved, Amelia Francisco and Deanna Mike. So we have a really nice rotation of 10 that are really playing time.
Coach, when you look at the schedule that you've put together, we were talking about the AAC before you came on. It's full of teams that are kind of putting more experience up, and I'm sure some teams lost some seniors, but some teams have a lot of experience coming back. When you look at the scope of the AAC, what are you expecting from the teams, and what are you expecting from your ability to compete in this league?
We sure hope to be in the thick of the race the entire year. I know there's a few teams that have some experience, but behind some of their experienced players are some youth. I would expect Howland to be strong as usual. That's always a huge rivalry for us. Boardman, I know they've struggled with numbers a little bit, some injuries, but we know we always get their best game. I think Warren is a big wild card because of the big three they lost, and even another couple other seniors who really helped them. So I'm not sure what to expect from them. Fitch with a brand new coach. We got a lot of scouting to do to kind of prepare for them, but it's always an interesting mix with our league, and we sure hope to be there at the end and a chance to have a say in the conference championship.
What is the biggest thing you've seen in growth-wise from the team over the course of the summer that really excites you for this season?
This group is wonderful in terms of how hard they work. We've had some of the most competitive practices we've ever had in the preseason. They've spent as much time together as a group working on their skill. They really surpassed the expectations we had. So we think that gives us a chance, being a really small Division I school in the tournament. But I couldn't be prouder of the effort they put in. They're committed. They want to be great, and they've sacrificed a lot to really try to improve.
Coach, you talked about the tournament and how hard it is for you guys being a small Division I team. So that means you have to go and schedule a lot of tough opponents in the regular season to prepare you. What are some non-conference teams that pop up into your season that you think will really get you ready for tournament time?
Well, we opened up a week from Saturday with Massillon Perry at home here. We lost to them in the regular season away, and then we were fortunate enough to beat them in the tournament. They're a really experienced team. They have almost every starter back. Tough one. Our second one, we go away to West Branch at 2-4 Thanksgiving. Then we follow it up with Marlington the Friday after Thanksgiving, and then we go up to a team that's been really tough for us in the past. We're at Stowe. So throwing those guys with the typical Ursuline Mooney, South Range, Poland twice. Stowe's always got a strong program. We like to really challenge ourselves, and especially those first four, we're going to find out how good we are really quick.
Coach, we always like to do a sort of meet the staff segment too, because we know how important your assistants are on the course of the season. So give a chance to shout out your assistants and some other big proponents that are going to be helping you out along the way this season.
Sure. It's kind of interesting. I coached for Coach Pavlansky almost my entire career. He was the head coach, and we've pretty much flip-flopped roles. He's our JV coach, and it's really nice to have that experience on the sideline with him, and he does a great job just doing extra for our program. Krista Johnson is our 9th grade coach. A lot of people remember her from Boardman. She really has a vibrant personality. She's young. The girls love her. She's done a great job for us. Our 8th grade coaches are very experienced. They both coached more than 20 years. Our 8th grade coach is Jim Harmon. He came over from the boys' side about 6 years ago. Mike Merritt, he also did some of the boys and came over, and he's been there about 4 or 5 years for us. The great thing for me as a varsity coach is when I'm going to go to the practices, I know that they're getting a varsity experience at the middle school. So I couldn't be more pleased with the staff we have.
Coach, before we let you go, I want you to give a chance to give a shout out to the Canfield community. I know they support you so much, and this year, going to be able to let them back in the gym to support this team. What's the support of Canfield mean to you, and how much do you like interacting with the fans of Canfield and getting their support on this girls program?
We really missed them last year. You know, having the parents, it was great, but, you know, we play a lot of Saturday night games, and we have pretty big attendance on those games, and it just adds a little more juice to the game. The girls enjoy playing in front of people. I couldn't be more blessed to be in a community that not only supports the boys programs, but they want their girls teams to be really, really good. And, you know, that means everything to our girls because they don't always get the credit they deserve that the guys sometimes do, but they work just as hard, if not harder. So I know we're thrilled to have fans back in the gym, and, you know, we're hoping to have some great crowds this year.
Coach, I said it before, one of the reasons why I'm where I'm at and I'm such a big fan is how you treated me when you were the head coach of South Range. I was just a measly fan. So I appreciate that, and I appreciate you coming on and talking with us today and all the time you give us. I look forward to coming out for a Canfield game and supporting you guys all season, and we'll talk to you again real soon.
I appreciate having me on. I apologize for the technical difficulties, but we figured it out, didn't we?
We got through it.
We always figure it out, Coach, and we thank you. We'll see you again real soon.
Hey, thanks for your support. I appreciate it.
So that was Matt Reel, the head coach of the Canfield girls basketball team, and we go from him to Sarah Hamilton, the head coach of the Salem girls basketball team, bouncing from coach to coach. Sarah, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today.
Thanks for having me today, guys, and thanks for all the work that you do in our community. It's appreciated.
Coach, we always like to start off with a meet the team session. As we know, Salem, very successful team last year. So looking at what you are presumably returning, what are going to be some of the big names to look out for on this team and some of the younger names that you think are going to make an impact at some point this season?
Big level in our roster. We have 11, 12 girls that we'll be going deep with. We have our seniors returning from last year. Jenna McClish, Abby Perry, Eleni, and Olivia Davidson, and Krista Barley. Krista was the one that shot the 3 at the district final Perry game. We've got Abby Davidson, returning starter, Cammie Rome, McKaylin Murphy, Zoe Reed, Riley Hutton, and Kaylee Carlisle. And they're all contributors on the court. They all have important roles. I think you're going to see me going pretty deep into the bench this year, the type of style of play that we'll have. But all of them are incredibly important in the team, and I'm looking forward to getting them their reps.
I hate to bring up the bad way you guys lost that district championship game and the heartbreaking way it was. I know it hurt. But losing that way, did it make everyone in this program that much more hungry to get back to that position and get back to that spot and make the results different this year?
Absolutely. I think it was definitely a humbling experience for us all just to be 4.4 seconds away from clenching the first district title since 2004. So we're right there. And I think the girls, that really motivated them to see what hard work can really do. But it's funny because you always look at the team that's celebrating and having a great time. But since that moment, I always tend to look at the other team and kind of see how they're handling it. So it was definitely a humbling experience, though, for sure.
Obviously, Coach, we know when a team gets hungry, they don't wait to get right back to work. So looking over the course of the summer and just the development naturally of these girls going into their junior years and upperclassmen years now, what has been the biggest point of growth that you've seen from the girls over the course of the summer going into this season?
I think just gaining the confidence within themselves. I know a lot of them weren't given much of an opportunity. We graduated some seniors, and now they know that, you know, it's up to them now. And they've played together since they were young. So it's going to be a well-gelled team. But they've really been working on just defensively, going crazy, scrambling. You're going to see a lot of aggressiveness out of us, with a lot of discipline, hopefully, as well.
Coach, let's talk about your schedule and start with the conference you're in. It's a tough conference. It's a gauntlet of a conference schedule you put together. Talk about the CBC, what you expect from some of the teams, and how you expect to fare in the conference as well.
Well, the EBC is always tough, and it's great because it always prepares us for tournament time. Many of the teams well coached. You've got West Branch, which is always a name in the community. Walt does just a phenomenal job there of really bringing a defensive-minded team each and every year. Obviously, we're going to be battling with them. Marlington, they return most of their girls as well, but you can never count out the Canton Souths, Carrolltons, Minervas. Even Alliance has some great players this year. So it's definitely going to be a gauntlet for us, but we're looking forward to it. We're looking forward. And like I said, say to the girls each and every day, we're our biggest opponent on the court. If we do and what we do as well, we should end up on top, hopefully most of the time.
We know the Quaker community can be back in full support this year for the Lady Quakes. So looking at that, what is the sort of sales pitch for anyone on the fence about coming out to see the Lady Quakers this year?
I think the minute that you step into the gym and you see how the girls play, we get so many compliments each and every time we play on how hard we play, how hard we work together, how much we fly around the court. We're ruthless on the court, especially defensively, full court, 100% of the time. So it's fun to see. We're not packing it in most of the time in a zone. We're just getting after teams. And so the chemistry that we have is something really, truly special that is going to be fun for anyone to watch, and it's fun to be a part of.
And you got a week and a day before your first game. You open the season next Friday at South Range. And then you dive into that game and the rest of your non-conference schedule. And by the way, South Range and Salem might be one of the marquee matchups in the opening day because that has turned into such a big non-conference rivalry in the area. But talk about some of the other teams that show up out of conference and how much you think this schedule will prepare you for the tournament time.
Yeah, South Range is always good. I know, Anthony, you're from there. You got a lot of love for South Range. We're looking forward to a battle with them. We also have Howland right after them. We turn around on that Monday and play Howland. We've got some big name schools, Fitch, Boardman. We are lucky enough to get the opportunity to go to Jackson this year, which will be a big, big game for us before tournaments to really prepare us going into that, as well as Canfield, Ursuline, and Mooney. So we've got some really great teams that we're going to be playing. And it's a tough schedule for us this year, and we're not afraid. We don't want to back down. We just want to go out there and just show everyone who we are.
Looking at this team and what the culture is, and you reference about who the team is and their identity, what do you hope the team would say if we asked them, what does it mean to be a Lady Quaker?
I think it means that everyone knows their role and everyone appreciates each and every role. It's always important, whether you're on the bench and supporting at that moment in time or you're our main rebounder. It doesn't matter what role you're is, it's equally important. And I think it's just a little bit of a family. Everyone that we have is a leader in some way, and everyone gets the opportunity to step up as a leader. So we'll be constantly changing formations, changing our rotations, changing starters. It's just going to be a different feel this year because, like I said, I'm blessed with having 11, 12 girls that can really play the game.
You automatically became my favorite coach interview because we have a dog in the background.
Yes, that's Chuck. You met Chuck, actually named after one of my former players, Allie Davidson Chuck. Yep. So we're lucky enough to have two sets of them on our team this year. We've got the senior twins and we've got the freshman twins this year as well.
Davidson, Chuck, you got them all.
We got them all. We got enough for a team this year.
Talk about, an extension to the last question. When players graduate from Salem and they get to reflect on their time in the program, what are some things off the court that you would hope that they would take away from being coached by you and going through this Salem basketball program?
It's just more than a game. It becomes a family. And each and every year, I have all of my former athletes over around Christmas time, and we just get to remember all the good times. And most of them aren't the games. Most of them are, the opportunity to get out in the community and service it. Whether it's in the past, we've built homes, we've done food pantry, we've helped wrap gifts, things of that nature. Just giving back to the community that gives us so much always. So, sports, it's fun, it's competitive, but once you leave the court, you're left with relationships. And a lot of times those relationships last a lifetime. And that's really what's important. It's amazing to see some of my players, become wives and become moms and, even become president of the school board. It's just amazing seeing what these kids go out and do.
We know for it to become a great program, it starts from all the way down middle school up, and we know Salem is no doubt one of those great programs. So giving you a chance now to shout out all your assistants and everyone that is in the Salem program that helps make this program what it is. This is kind of a meet the staff segment for you now.
Well, I want to start off with our foundation and our youth coordinators that work with our 2nd through 6th graders, Nick Rome and Riley Leiter. They do a tremendous job of just instilling the love within the young kids first, that basketball is a game of love and it's a game of respect. And so those are huge because without them, it makes my job so much harder. I've got some really great junior high coaches, Candy Kekik, who was my volleyball assistant. She is in the YSU Hall of Fame for basketball, actually, the first female scholarship. Kendra Richardson is our 8th grade coach, and she was actually my first player on my first team that I ever coached way back in 7th grade. So it's kind of crazy how the roles have reversed. And then at the high school level, I've got Sierra Day, who is also a former Lady Quaker. She played at Hiram. She is assisting as well. We've got the ever so popular Eric Bailey that you guys all know. He does a tremendous job for us. He's done so many things as far as youth tournaments, all these fundraisers. He's been amazing. Coach Dreger, Renee Dreger, is coming back, and she's actually the first one that ever hired me, and she's the reason that I'm even a Salem Quaker still. And so she's going to be my assistant varsity coach, and she's just has loads of experience. She was a former high school coach. She's done it all. She was a great college athlete, and we really work well together. And then the famous George Spack is also going to be on our staff this year. So I'm just really confident with our staff. We love the kids so much, and we do it all for each other and for the kids.
And a lot of famous people on that staff.
A lot of celebs, a lot of local celebs.
Yeah. No paparazzi, please. No, I think Eric, especially Eric Bailey. I'm not saying this because he's a YSN guy. I just watching him over the years and getting to know him. Man, does he just love the people he coaches? Like, he's going out to soccer games, he's going out to volleyball games, just to show the support to the players he loves. So I'm talking from your perspective as a coach running a program and all these multiple sport athletes you have. How much of an emphasis do you put on supporting them in their other sports and making sure that the coaching staff sends their well wishes and wants them to know that they want them to succeed in everything they do?
It's huge because they're not just basketball players, they're athletes, they're our kids. So whatever it means for them to succeed in life, we want to see that, whether it's on the basketball court, soccer field, volleyball court, track and field. Our cross country girls just went to state. So it means so much that we just support them as kids and not just basketball players. We're lucky that we get them for a season, but our relationship goes far beyond a season. So it's important that we get there and we support them.
Coach, my final question for you is just going to be a simple one, but you could take it as far as you want. What are you most excited for about the upcoming 21-22 Salem Lady Quakers?
I'm excited for just a little bit of a revenge tour. We're still bitter about that 4.4 seconds. And I think these girls really feel now that they're capable of accomplishing some pretty big things if they really work hard, if they play together, and if they put their team before themselves. And I think that's huge because a lot of times with sports nowadays, with social media, a lot of egos get in the way. And so just putting the egos on the back burner and just really playing together and just flying all over the court, having fun, making memories, and really making sure we get out and serve our community.
My final question for you, and you've been in the coaching world for a while. Who are some of your inspirations, your role models in your coaching experience, and some of the people that have kind of put you where you're at now?
I would say my biggest role models were my basketball coaches. I had Roger Ziegler and Steve Stewart, and they just not only instilled the love of the game into me, but the importance of how big a relationship is in the game. They were my father figures growing up, and I was blessed to have them in my life, and I still am in contact with them. It was really nice. We got inducted in the Hall of Fame, our 2004 team, and just being with them again and catching up and just being on the other end of the stick and seeing how different it is as a player versus as a coach. And they just instill a lot of love of just coaching and relationships as well. So definitely them.
Man, being coached by Roger Ziegler, there's no secret on why you play the defense that you do, because if you were going up against a Ziegler coach team, you knew that you were going to get pressed like crazy, and good luck.
Yeah, exactly.
Coach, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. It was great to have a preview of the Salem girls basketball season. We wish you the best of luck. We look forward to covering you all season, and we know that as the season goes on, we'll talk to you again real soon.
Yeah, thanks again, guys. Have a great day.
Coach Sarah Hamilton, head coach of the Lady Quakers down there in Salem, that are geared up for a very impressive season. This team, they might be one of the teams that's pushed to the forefront this year. They have a lot returning. They did lose a couple of good seniors, but they have a lot returning, and they might be one of the ones that is really geared up for not just a district championship, but maybe even a deeper tournament run. Don't want to jinx them, but that's what I'm kind of predicting out of Salem's Salem season this year.
Yeah, for sure. And you know what? We talk about basketball coaches. We just keep on chugging along, and we know we're going to have some coaches on as well tomorrow.
And I also apologize for booting Sarah Hamilton off the show for 2 seconds there at the beginning. I hit the wrong button. You're back on really quick.
No.
That's how today's going.
We, of course, know that tomorrow we have lined up for you Scott Slavesco, the Hubbard girls basketball coach, coming on at 12:30 tomorrow, and then coming on at, I believe, 1 o'clock, Fitch boys basketball coach Brian Beanie. And here's some breaking news. The Girard boys basketball coach Craig Hannon now will be joining us at the top of the show, 12 o'clock now tomorrow. So we'll have the Girard Indians covered in their boys program with Craig Hannon coming on this show tomorrow at 12 o'clock.
Add another one to the list, my friend. So we keep doing, and we'll also be debuting an interview that DJ did
with Fitch girls. So Fitch is covered in one day. We got Fitch boys, Fitch girls on a Friday. So Fitch, you're covered on Friday. I'll make sure to let everybody know on social media.
We'll also have Hubbard covered.
Yeah. We already had Coach Mortimer, so we're gonna get Hubbard checked off with Sylvesco now.
So we're getting there. We're getting there.
Yes, no doubt.
We might be having shows that are just beginning to end coaches next week as we try to get as many done as possible for the start of the season next Friday.
Yeah, no doubt. And this is you might we have something special in store if we're able to keep getting these coaches. So we want to work diligently and get as many coaches as we can here, as we love what we've been able to do on this show the last few weeks, and we continue to. And even off-air interviews, we're trying to get all the coaches that we can here before the season starts.
I am so excited for next Friday and the start of the basketball season. Like talking to all these coaches, it's getting me a little worked up, and I'm feeling for it. And now I'm starting to look towards it. And I've had enough time where a little bit of a voice break between the long volleyball season and the basketball. My voice is ready. My broadcasting is ready, and I want to go. Let's go. Next Friday, I'll be at South Range for the Salem South Range game, and that should be the marquee matchup of the opening day because, like I said, that's quickly become a very big non-conference rivalry in this area. They've seen each other in the tournament several times over the years. They've played each other in almost every regular season. It's always knockdown, drag-out, defensive battles, and it promises to be another one next Friday.
Yeah, no doubt. I'm excited for basketball season too, man. I really am. So, yeah, I'll be on the phone diligently with Paul Munson.
Saturday, Canfield plays Perry. That's a big matchup, man. Canfield Perry in day one, well, day two of the season, but day one for Canfield. Like, how do you open the season with Perry and then go right to Hal? I mean, Salem opening with South Range and then they go to Howland the next Monday. I mean, that's a gauntlet. It's awesome. I love it. I'm stoked.
Yeah,
and we are going to do pick'ems, by the way, for basketball. You've locked that in. We're going to do them. I'm dedicated. Both sides. We're going to keep standings, and we're going to make it fun.
And geez, oh man, I mean, if we're gonna keep standings, that one's gonna be tough too. You're gonna have the running scoreboard in there too, or like something. If maybe Quinn can get us something.
I'm gonna try to make like a graphic we can update every day with
that would be cool.
StreamYard
we can just put the numbers in, then right.
And then we can just put it into the StreamYard.
We'll be able to do pick'ems every Friday for over the weekend, but we'll be doing pick'ems almost every day for at least 15 minutes throughout the show.
Mondays and probably there are some girl teams that play Monday, Wednesday. So Monday, Wednesday, Thursday for girls,
Tuesday for boys,
Friday for boys, and there's always going to be Saturday games laced in there too. So, woo.
We're going to be picking a lot of basketball.
We are
talking a lot of basketball.
We're going to be picking both sides. We're not just going to pick the boys' games. We're going to be picking both sides.
And that's going to be exciting.
And bragging rights are on the line. We'll come up with something that we can do for the winner. I'll have a gentleman's bet.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt.
No putting Anthony in a Hubbard jersey. Don't do that to Hubbard because it went so bad for them. It went so bad.
I saw Coach Hamilton throwing some shade at you though. Everyone knows too.
They don't know
it's out on you, Anthony.
Especially when girls basketball season pops up, they know that's where it started. So it's all cool. Whatever.
They're like, we know where your allegiance lies, truly. And
I can promise Salem fans next Friday when I'm on the call, it'll be a 50-50 split. I'm YSN. Be wearing YSN stuff. I'll put my South Range stuff away.
Anthony's rolling into your gym like dun 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 dun. dun.
It's actually in South Range, so
yeah,
I'd be rolling into anybody's gym, but whatever. It's cool. I'll embrace being the bad guy. Darth Vader looked cool.
Yeah. We already have our bad guy in Billy Mack, though. He already plays that role so well.
Put a Vader mask on Billy.
Yeah, I mean Billy Mack is the bad guy. I mean, I think that's self-entitled. I think that's a name he's given himself.
Say hello to the bad guy. Yeah,
he's the Razor Ramon of YSN.
Oh man, and we haven't had a comment from Billy Mack in a while.
I know we've been missing Billy Mack.
Where's YSN Scully?
Yeah,
come back to us. We miss you.
Yeah, no doubt. But hey, like we said, we have guests scheduled for tomorrow, so definitely don't miss it. Both Fitch coaches. We're going to be debuting Coach Wilson with DJ's interview, and we ourselves are going to have Coach Brian Beanie on live, as well as Hubbard girls basketball Scott Silvesco, and then literally right here on the show, we just confirmed Girard boys basketball and Craig Hannon coming on the show at 12 o'clock too. So going to be obviously very exciting, as like we said, and we'll say it throughout the week, you never know when we're going to add a coach on the schedule.
You never know. I mean, none of the coaches today were confirmed on the day of, but like I said, when we said goodbye to DJ, because of the breaking news, we did have to kind of rearrange the coaches' schedules and when they were coming on. They were all very flexible with us, so I definitely want to take the time to thank the coaches that came on today for being a little bit flexible to a schedule, because we had to get Coach Emil on and talk about his breaking news. So we thank all the coaches that came on today. Coach Don Matisi of the Springfield girls basketball team. We thank Matt Reel, the head coach of the Canfield girls basketball team. We thank Coach Kay from the Warren JFK boys basketball team. And we also want to thank Coach Hamilton from the Salem girls basketball team that we just talked to. And, of course, a deep thank you to Chris Emil for taking the time to let us break that news and let us get a scope of his conversations that he had with the team and his thoughts and what he's going to do next. It was great to be able to talk to him, and we wish him the best of luck in all that he does. Tomorrow, like Ty said, we're going to have a debut of Coach Jeff Wilson with Austintown Fitch girls basketball. We will have the Austintown Fitch boys basketball taken care of as well with Coach Beamy. Coach Hannon from Girard, what leading off the show, right? Noon o'clock.
Yep.
Noon o'clock. What am I doing? Noon. You don't say noon o'clock.
Noon o'clock. What are you doing?
Oh, man, what are you doing?
But we're going to actually, I mean, it can be kind of perfect if we set it up too, because the 1 o'clock hour can be the all Fitch hour, 1 to 1:15 for Coach Beanie, 1:15 to 1:30 Wilson, and then we can go right into that NE8 from 12 to 1. We got the boys side with Girard, and we got the girls side with Hubbard.
Yeah, Coach Silvesco from Hubbard as well will be on the show tomorrow, the Chalk Hubbard girls basketball. As well as our Pick'em Friday. We have playoff games to pick. We'll pick them. We'll talk about them. We've sprinkled every playoff matchup at some point this week talking about them. So we haven't forgot about the football playoffs. We're definitely going to be picking them as well tomorrow. It'll be a busy day. Stick with us. We'll be back tomorrow from 12 to 2. Casual Sports Podcast coming up next from 2 to 3, and then Power Hour from 3 to 4. Until tomorrow, sayonara.